Welcome to Champ Talk with Branden Hudson. We're back in action. And guys, like I say in all episodes, please like, subscribe, share this episode, especially if you think that this episode would resonate with somebody that could use any of this content that we produce. Look, we do all of our stuff for free. We just want to continue to push the envelope of making people their best versions of themselves and using all kinds of different ways to do it, all kinds of different people. And obviously, when me and Chet run our little lips, we make it happen. Chet, what's up, buddy?
No, you said we do this for free. You told me you were going to buy me a cheeseburger Tuesday.
Well, did you show up Tuesday?
No, tomorrow's Tuesday.
Oh, tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I got to get you a cheeseburger, Chet.
Okay. Thanks.
Jeez.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Great comedic intro.
I'm good.
All right, we had a good weekend this weekend, right?
We did.
Yes, we saw the, this isn't going to be a full MMA video. We just want to touch on this a little bit, or episode, excuse me, but I feel it's only right that we talk about Dustin the Diamond Poirier and Max Blessed Holloway's fight this past weekend, man. What did you think?
Oh, it was fun. What a fight, though.
Yeah.
What a fight.
Yeah. Did you agree with the judges' scorecards?
Yes.
You did? I thought it was a little closer.
Well, so you kind of have to put that in context. For what we've seen in recent times from scorecards and judges, I guess it's about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think Max clearly won.
Yeah, I definitely, hands down, Max definitely won. But I don't think that, I don't think it was 2-2, or I don't think it was, 4-1. You know what I mean? I think that it was 3-2. Going into or 2-2 going into the fifth round.
I mean, everybody said it. Were they watching the same fight we were watching?
Yeah, we all were like, what's going on here, man? So, but man, if you guys didn't know, it was a phenomenal fight. Max Holloway he's awesome. Got a great storyline. He came in first fight, fought Dustin Poirier, got tapped out. They fought later on in a really competitive number one contenders match a few years back. That was a really good banger of a fight, but Dustin Poirier edged him out, and then Max was able to give Dustin his farewell fight in Dustin's hometown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I called second round knockout by Max Holloway, and sure enough, it was close.
There was a minute there I was like, God damn, I nailed this.
Right about 2 minutes. That's a 2 minute second round knockout. He almost did it, but Dustin, man, like he always does, just came back and just put on a show, and it was just a beautiful display. It was, for me, that's what mixed martial arts is all about. Like that really says that says the whole story about it, how beautiful it can be. They say the magic's in baseball, right? And baseball has a lot of magic. Yeah. And it really does if you're a baseball fan. But, there's nothing like MMA. There's nothing like the UFC. It just, man, they do a great job of building up their characters, building up their competitors, giving the storylines, a little bit of WWE sprinkled in there. It's like, it's just.
They always come out with really nice tributes too, especially like when it's their last fight, when they're retiring. It's like
they really did, man. And Dustin's a man's man. He had that little tear that come down at and I thought that was cool. When DC was doing it, DC was crying like, you know what I mean, and all boo-hooing. But Dustin, man, he just
DC didn't know what he was saying. He was winging it.
Yeah, he was. But Dustin really did a great job, and they just painted it well. And the one thing about MMA is the storybook never goes the way you want it. It's like the guy that's last fight usually loses. It's never the
and
big,
on some level, it's like it's only right if he would win this in his last fight. But how, I don't know what the statistics are, but how often does it really go that way?
Rarely.
But
the difference between that fight, not to cut you off, but the difference between that fight is we thought that was going to happen early in the fight, and then Dustin was able to really put it together, almost finish Max. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, cool. This was a banger of a fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it probably should have been fight of the night.
Yeah, I don't think you couldn't. Really couldn't have gone any better. Really, for both those guys and the outcome, and for his last fight, it's got, everything to be proud of for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So, we're just Champ Talk, so we're not like this big, but man, I'll tell you what, if the interwebs ever go anywhere farther than what our platform reaches, man, thank you, Dustin Diamond Poirier, for a hell of a career, man. It's been awesome watching you. That was my era of fighting, as far as like being a fan and being in the sport and just watching him. I actually remember MTV did this little like reality show, It wasn't the Bully Beatdown one. It was another reality show about a couple of amateur or small promotion fighters down south somewhere in Florida, I think, or somewhere. And they were following these guys around. I remember specifically one of the guys was trying to cut weight, and he actually shaved his hair off of his leg and his head to make the extra pounds. But they actually visited Dustin Poirier's gym, and Dustin Poirier was like nobody, like maybe a pro fight or two, and beat the brakes off this dude. I mean, because they had to step up in competition to be able to get ready, and just really showed that guy how many levels it is. And I remembered his name. I remember that guy's name, Dustin Poirier, for all the way back then, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's in the UFC, and so that was pretty cool for me. I love the fights that he's put on. He's just man, he is so durable. He's a man's man. He's a fighter's fighter. So thank you for a great career. I enjoyed watching you as a fan.
And the level of respect with those two guys too was nice to see.
Yes, I wanted to say that too. I think it's worth noting that Max Holloway won the fight. They started interviewing him. It's customary they interview just the winner. They will interview the loser if it's like a last fight or some special occasion, but they stop interviewing the losers. Just because there's so much emotion and things going through their head during that time. And Max was like, "Hey, look, man, I'm ready to go. I'll take anybody. Look, this is Dustin's night. Cut the mic. I could take this, but thank him for letting me get in here. Dustin, have it." And I thought that was a class act, man.
Yeah.
His children, you could tell Max's children are raised right. His children came up and congratulated him. And fun fact, Dustin actually went to his son when he beat Max and was like, "Hey man, it's okay. He'll be okay."
I remember that.
So it's just a beautiful storyline, man. Well, it was such a way to kind of bring it all back and just write the story the right way, and it touched my heart, man. I wasn't one of those fans crying. You know what I mean? I wanted Max to win. I love Dustin Poirier. You don't want to see either one of those guys lose, but Max Holloway, man, he's got a lot more juice in the tank, and I'd love to see him make another title run, and I'd love to see him become champ. I know Poirier is the dark horse and getting busy, or not Poirier, excuse me. Ilia Topuria is the dark horse and getting busy in that division, but man, I'd love to see Max come out and get that lightweight.
Kind of interested to see where what Dustin does after this too. If it's coaching. And you see what comes out from, because that's always like the next chapter in that story. Not always, but when it is, it can be a cool thing too. See what fighters he's producing too. It would be cool if that's the route he's going. I don't know.
I doubt it, man. I tell you from experience, it's everybody wants to be an MMA coach. You know what I mean? I think this is a good segue here. Everybody wants to be a good MMA coach or boxing coach, combat sports, whatever you want to dub it, and they want to get in there and produce the best fighters. I think they forget that, you're in there just as much as the fighter. Right. You know what I mean? And it's a thankless job at being a coach. I mean, of course your fighters thank you and you build a reputation, but so many fighters, disappoint you. So many people come and go. So many fighters lose interest and, jump ships and, all the stuff. It's funny because, you can have contracts with like promotions and with management teams and guys and gals who have the best interest agents for your career, but you rarely have coaches that have contracts with their fighters. I know some of the bigger gyms have a way of doing it where
and it really should.
You should, bro. But I know some of the bigger gyms they'll say we'll give you free room and board. You can train with us for free, but you got to honor these stipulations, and a lot of times what that is you're there to be a body. You know what I mean? They've seen what you are somewhere, some way, shape, or form, offer you a deal, and then if you sink, you sink. If you swim, then you have the chance to be on the roster and build your way up. And I think that's a fair way. Being a gym owner myself, I think that's a fair way. If your gym is producing world class, world champions, you know what I mean, or you're in that realm of coaching, I 100% think that is. But majority of your gyms, in my opinion, aren't that. Majority of your gyms have competition, but I think it's more of a, we're just teaching people jiu-jitsu. We're teaching people kickboxing and Muay Thai. We're teaching people how to box. We're teaching people wrestling. I don't think it's necessarily this, top of the world. A lot of people have the thoughts that they're going to be, you know, world class and have the wants and ambitions. But man, that's a whole different animal when it comes to having a gym and coaching and producing world-class fight. It's not even the world-class fighters you have to produce. You have to produce a world-class room, an environment. You have to produce other world-class coaches. You know what I mean? So there's so much that goes into that. And why I bring that up, or why we segued into that, was, one of the things that I noticed is majority of your gyms are not that, right? Like we compete. We just competed this past weekend. We love competition. We love to go and do our thing, but that's not our primary focus. Our primary focus is to pay our coaches, pay our staff, keep the lights on, and keep a conducive quality program up and running, right? And if we're not doing that, then all of it doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? All of it goes to shit anyway. If we can't keep the lights on and we can't pay. Here's the thing that people don't understand is fighters are broke.
Yeah.
Fighters are broke. Listen, you see it time and time again. I think Conor McGregor's a great example, you know what I mean, where money's changed them, you know what I mean? And I don't think it's, and I know how you feel about Conor. I loved vintage Conor. I thought vintage Conor was the best. He talked trash. He called his shots. He did some remarkable things. He changed the game. He did some things that no other fighter will ever do, right? But man, he really turned into a douchebag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I only say that, like, I don't say that in a judgmental way.
But you can't deny his skill.
Yeah.
That's the tough part, right?
Yeah, and I don't say that in a douchebag way. I don't say that in a way like, like, hey, you're a douchebag, you're this, you're that. I say this in a way of, it's like, some of the things that you getting involved in, hey, that's your life, but it's questionable. It's very questionable in regards to, striking an older person at the bar, or, getting in so many different allegations and different, things like that, and scandals. And okay, cool. And, Ilya Tapora said this. He was like, man, that was my hero. And now it's kind of like, damn, you really let us down. But where I'm going with this is, you saw that when he got money, and I don't think money changes you, right? I think money and alcohol.
I was going to say, it's kind of like booze, man. It will certainly
I think money
let some guards down and bring out.
I think money and alcohol expose the real you.
Yeah.
I don't think it changes you. I think it exposes the real you. And, clearly, I think with Conor, you know what I mean, there is some underlying trauma and insecurities that he's not settled with.
Right.
And that's why he, is doing what he's doing. And whatever, live your life. I mean, I'm still always going to be a fan of him. I'm still always going to, but I'm going to call my shot. Like, I'm not one of these guys that are blindly following people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not my thing, But where I'm getting at with all that is fighters are broke when they come up and sign up, right? That's why they're fighting. If you had money, you wouldn't be fighting. You know what I mean? And if you did have money, you wouldn't have the heart or the want to fight as much as you do. There's a couple of rare cases out there, not many people. And, it's interesting where, a lot of gyms want to focus on that avatar as to be their identity and their brand, but neglect the resources or the things that you have to do in order to keep the lights on, right? Prime example, sales.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading one of these groups that I'm in, or you were in, excuse me. And the one guy posed a question, is like, why are gym owners so bad at sales? Right? Why is it that they, just can't close the deal? And, a guy got in there and wrote a whole book that looked like it was written by ChatGPT about, sales aren't important to me. I want people to invest in me, and I want people to, I want people to invest in themselves, and I want them to, come if they want to. And, nobody wants a pushy salesman.
And people magically show up by word of mouth.
Yeah, people magically show up by word of mouth, and you're wrong. You're 100% wrong on that, right? And if we get blessed, and the guy's listening to this, I hope I can help him and educate him better, because that is like the worst perspective that you can go as a combat sports gym owner, right? Think about this. You have a craft. You have an expertise that you've spent decades, if not more, perfecting and honing in and committing and sacrificing to. you obviously have a personality, because if not, you wouldn't have anybody around you. So you have a personality, you have charisma, you have people that a magnetic field that attracts people to you.
You got something that somebody likes.
Yes, you got something that somebody likes. You got something that will give you the privilege to be in the center of a class and command respect, leadership, direction, help, and all the above. For you to throw a sales potential up to chance by saying, "Hey, I'm just going to give you a good experience when you come in. I'm not going to push you. Here's your free trial. Come back if you want." I think is foolish, because the number one rule in sales is the follow up, right?
Right.
The other side of it is like, people need to be pushed to make a decision. The sales is an emotional decision. People need to be pushed to make that decision. I'm not talking about coming out here and trying to, get everything out of that potential member or that potential client or that potential person that's signing up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, dude, if you've got all this stuff going for you, if you got this charisma, you've got this accolades, you've got the ability, and you got a place to people to train, your responsibility is to fill that gym. Your responsibility is to fill that gym for your other members.
If that's what you're going for. And maybe some people just aren't. I just got to throw that in there. It's like, maybe that's not what, everybody wants or where they're going to, but if you're going to put a book out like that, in a group that, somebody's asking that question, then clearly you do have some kind of aspirations of growing your gym, growing your business, growing your membership. Well, and you're exactly right. Like one of the biggest things is there's that responsibility to the members. It's not about, cha-ching every time. You got, you want good training partners for your members. You want to build a culture for the members that are there. So it goes way deeper for sure. Yeah. Well,
but I'm gonna have to call bullshit on that first part, because, these same kind of people are the ones that talk about it's so hard for a small business owner. Hey, come vote for my shit. Hey, come out here and
no,
you know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying, right?
No,
and that is a thing.
If you don't want to, if you don't want to,
if you're a club, but fuck that. I disagree.
But if you really don't, and just like, I'm cool with me and my 5 buddies, hanging out in the garage, that's cool. But then don't, on the other hand, take a shitty stab at explaining the business process that you're not even involved in. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're not talking about we're not talking about clubs. We're not talking about your school club and where you're at a college and you happen to have a kickboxing club or a jiu-jitsu club. We're not talking about your private gym that's in the back of a garage. We're talking about a business,
right?
Quote unquote supposedly business. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys aren't even registered nowadays. You know what I mean? With the tax laws and stuff like that, or with tax IDs and everything. We're talking about when you're trying to run a legitimate combat sports business,
right?
Even more so, let's take it even a step further. You're teaching kids, okay? Mm-hmm. You're teaching kids. All right, let's take it even a step further. I'm a gym owner. I'm teaching adults and I'm teaching kids, but yet my only focus is on myself or my 6 good buddies that are really good that we train all the time. Well, what about those 50 kids that you got on the mats that have fallen in love with the sport, have fallen in love with their friends, made confidence, made strides in life, but yet you're not willing to be a salesperson and close a deal as the owner, or not willing to hire a salesperson who can do that? It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. And not only is it irresponsible, it's lazy and it's condescending and it's contradictory. And that's the part that bothers me, right? Is taking a stab at it. And I know what you're saying. So I'm just making sure that our listeners are clear. If you've got a business, you need to sell. 2 things to master business. 2 things to master in business in the first level: sales, marketing. You got to be able to get people in your doors, and you got to be able to close sales. And we have a sales team here that, specifically focuses on getting people in the building and closing the deal, right?
And after that, just got to throw it in there. And that's not where it ends.
No, not at all.
Then you got to keep them. You got to give them a reason to stay. Well, I don't mean just find a way to keep them. Got to keep them here with a contract. No, I mean you need to provide value, and you need to up your game every week, and keep showing them that, hey, we appreciate you, and we're going to give you more and more as much as we can.
Correct.
Because you got to keep them. I mean,
well, and it's not just about necessarily keeping them, like, in that sense, right? You're 100% right. But your 6 minute, your little hour long interaction with them on an open mat or interaction with them on a trial class is not going to be what they're going to base their life upon when they want to decide to make this commitment, base their decision upon, when they make this commitment. They are in a space where they're with some awkward dude who can kill them. You know what I mean? They don't know, they may not fit with your personality. They may not fit with they may not mesh with you at all. They may not even you might even look like somebody that picked on them in high school, but you just happen to open your mouth and sound differently and sound friendly, but they can't get that vision out of your head. When you close the sale, you bring them into your culture where they may find another coach that they love. Mm-hmm. They might find a tribe in there that they connect with. It gives them more time to get to know you.
Yeah.
Like sitting here and saying, oh, well, I don't believe in pushing anybody. And then, and then poaching other gym's members, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of them out there to do that too. There are a lot of them, will say one thing and completely do another thing, right? It's the internet culture, right? It's we can say whatever thought comes to our little tiny brains whenever we read something that we think is talking about us or to us, right? So that we can just be heard and irrelevant and then forget everything that we said or thought and do the exact opposite in real life, right? It's fucking crazy, dude. I can't even wrap my head around the culture of combat sports owners. There's such a just it's so bad, man. I love combat sports. All the ones that are out there that are doing it right, hats off to you.
I was gonna say, and there's plenty of people doing it right.
Yes, there are,
like
man.
Doing it,
yes, there are.
Big time.
Hats off to you. But if you're not going to close the sale, you're not going to have members. And that's, I'll tell you a prime example. I heard this before. If I work for somebody, right, or if someone's leading me, and they tell me they're not about the money, and I work and do business with this person, I'm not following that motherfucker. Bro, you're telling me you're not about the money, but you're paying me?
Right.
Don't first of all, don't lie. Second of all, I want someone about the money that's paying me. I want you to be all about the money that's paying me. So in relevance to this, if you're not willing to build your gym and build your brand, and you're not willing to go out here and get some sort of formal sales training or open your fucking mouth or hire somebody to do it, get the fuck out of the way for the rest of us. Go to the garage. Not just that. Stop the stress of owning a gym and all the sacrifices that you have. Stop the stress of that.
Just go have fun.
Go have fun. Live a life, because it's not. They have an old saying: if you want to make some money, if you don't want to make money, open a gym. Right.
Right.
Like, bro, don't sit here and waste and hurt the culture of the industry because you don't want to go out here and do the extra steps because you personally feel you don't want to be pushed. That's a biased position. That's a biased opinion. Majority of the people out here want to be sold something, right? They want to be told something. They want to be sold something. They want to be given their options, and they want to be guided in that direction so they can feel good about their decision. They don't want to have buyer's remorse. They don't want to sit here. They don't know if they can commit. Everybody struggles with commitment issues. People struggle with change and getting to know people. These are all the things the gym owner you should be helping with. As the gym person, the front person, you should be helping with. And hats off to you guys that are wearing all the hats. I've done it for years. I'm trying to take off some of these hats now. I admire you. I commend you. I feel for you. Hats off to you gym owners that are teaching classes, running your marketing, running your sales, cleaning the gym, doing all of the things that you have to do to keep your business alive. I promise you, man, you are the fucking unsung heroes. Hats off. Here's the other side of it, though. If you're not willing to hire someone to do these mundane tasks, these tasks that are above your pay grade, out of fear or out of idiocracy, like I saw on this post this weekend, you are sabotaging your business and your gym to be able to grow and be able to have any kind of future with members, with competing, with whatever you want to do. You're sabotaging them.
And I saw it for years in advertising. It's like this, somebody they could be the best chef. I mean, phenomenal food, but they don't know how to run the restaurant. They don't know the business end of it. Say a mechanic. I mean, name anybody. You're a great mechanic, but you don't know anything about the marketing end of it. So you're wondering why, you build it and nobody's showing up. Well, It doesn't work that way. And what do great coaches do when they get to a certain level? You hire other coaches, right?
Correct.
I mean, not just an MMA coach, any
business,
any business, right? That's why there's, you hire consultants like, hey, I need some help with this. So yeah, if you're not willing to do that, you say you're definitely sabotaging it.
Oh,
and you don't know. I mean, you think, and I've seen this scenario also, you think you've got everything covered. Everything is doing really, really well, better than you have been. Maybe you're hitting plateaus and things are going good. But can you imagine if you can duplicate yourself, if you could get, those other efforts of, 2, 3, 4, however many people, and duplicate those efforts? It's, it's almost a math thing.
Well, yeah,
you don't know what you don't know. It's like, hey, what level could you be at? Like, things are great. That's great operation. Your business is growing. But what if you took that next step? You went to that next level. It's unknown because you haven't done it.
The scariest thing for business owners and entrepreneurs and gym owners is to make that first hire and relinquish control and relinquish their give over their baby. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest fear that business owners and entrepreneurs and gym owners have. And then once we do that, we're like, why the hell did it take me so long to do this? What was I thinking, right? Why did I not do this sooner? You're not going to find a duplicate of you. What if you find 2 people that are 50% of you, right? Like, you're not going to find a duplicate of you. You're going to find if you find a duplicate of you, it's probably your competitor, or you need to hire him immediately, right? But you're going to have to recruit that motherfucker. When you're talking about somebody that's coming in, that's taking tasks off of your desk, I'll give you a prime example. I was looking up notes for what we were going to talk about today on Champ Talk on my way to the beach yesterday. And as I'm pulling up my notes, dude, there's hundreds, if not probably hundreds, it's a lot of them, of notes in my phone note section of ideas and shit that I need to get to that I physically don't have the capacity or time to get to. Hundreds. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, Jesus, man. Right?
Yeah.
Because we're wearing all the hats. We're doing all the things. We're focusing on all of the stuff that's going on. And I'm looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh, man, this is insane. Right? And people be like, well, why are you telling your competition how to beat you, Branden? I don't give a fuck about getting beat. I'm trying to help. Listen, I had a conversation with a member just the other day. If you don't get what you need to get out of this program, please go somewhere else. Don't feel held hostage or feel some sort of weird loyalty to me. Mm-hmm. You may want to give it a little bit before you go, right? Try it out. But if you're to the point where you're at, wit's end with it, then go somewhere else. Please just don't stop combat sports. Because we believe in it so much and we understand how beneficial and what it's done for our lives, that I would much rather be your introductory coach and introduce you to something so that you continue to go do it than be your beginning and end where you just got discouraged and don't want to do it, right? So I don't mind teaching or talking about what works. I live in abundance, guys. I don't live in fucking scarcity. I'm not worried about the competition down the street or up the road or around the corner. I don't give a fuck about that. There's enough pie for everybody. And that's what people struggle with to understand. There's enough pie for everyone.
But I think one of the dangers of what you're talking about is somebody going somewhere, and I've heard the conversations you've had with people before. Mm-hmm. But like you say, it's good for the community, good for the industry, to not burn them. But unfortunately, some people are going to walk into places where that is going to be their first and last stop.
Yeah.
Whether it's now or maybe 5 years, they decide, hey, I want to try this again. But for a lot of people, that one experience is going to be either, yep, that's what I thought it was going to be like, or man, I didn't know it was going to be like this. And what is this all about? This is nothing what I thought. This is bullshit. Fuck these guys. Or
the opposite. This is awesome, amazing. Let me stay here and go. You know what I mean? It's.
But I'm saying for the on the negative side of it, that's a real danger of that is if a gym, if an operation doesn't have its shit mostly together, and there's always growing, there's always those growing pains, there's always, figuring out on the fly, but there's growth in that. But if you're kind of stuck with that one mindset and not moving from what you've been doing, there is that danger, I feel, of coming into a situation where that is the first and last stop for somebody.
Agreed. No, you're spot on, man. And when a gym owner like myself or a gym patron like you hears that, it just breaks our hearts, because if you would just get the experience you're looking for, or not even knowing you need, it will change your life. Real quick, let's talk about, give a huge shout out to our sponsor, SBY MMA and Fitness. Oh, you got it today. Yep. So, you know what I mean? Of course, we're talking about gym stuff. We had to throw that out there, shameless plug. But if you're on the Eastern Shore, if you're ever visiting the Eastern Shore, Salisbury, come stop, check out our gym out. It's good vibes only. But if you're looking to get into combat sports, or you're looking to lose weight, or you're looking to get some confidence, a one-on-one, SBY MMA and Fitness. We're located inside of Pure Fitness. It's a beautiful, beautiful, magnificent facility. You can create the ultimate athlete. There's a community of people here. Everybody's meeting each other. I think we got 8,000 running members at Pure Fitness. You know what I mean? And we're creeping up on 400 members again. So it's a great place to be. And again, thank you to SPY. But yeah, when I hear things like that, man, it just breaks my heart, man, because I know I know there's so many jacklegs out here that are just fucking it up for everybody. I mean, it's just like that, and it's just like the sexual abuse that you hear about all the time, and that goes on and prevalent through a lot of sports, but a lot of combat sports gyms. You know what I mean? Like that's another thing that is a it's a horrible thing that our world experiences. You know what I mean? You got just I'm not going to go into it, but just the worst of the worst that happens. When these kids are and these parents entrust these gym owners with their children. We do background checks. I pay for the background check for every one of the coaches we bring in here. We do background checks. We find out who these people are. We find out what's going on. I'm not saying you have to have a squeaky clean, like good luck finding some combat sports, people that haven't been in a fight or two in their life or something like that. But
well, not just the coaches and staff. I mean, it's important to know who your members are.
Members too. Yeah, we check out all our members. We check it all out, right? Look, we're here to help you get better in life, right? We're not here to judge you, but I don't think something like that you can come back from. But again, it's a thing where you got these horrible people, bad people, preying on the innocent, preying on the victims, and then or the weak, and then ultimately is tainting that experience for the world and for their entire family.
And it sucks because you see it in so many sports.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then another weird thing is like the dating of the members. You know what I mean? Like that was always strange to me. I just never really got that whole, especially I don't know, man. That's another thing. It's like, I get it, I guess. You know what I mean? We're like, you meet with people and stuff like that, but it's just there's some odd things that go on. You know what I mean? I'm always looking at it like this. If I can, I mean, if I got, especially if like the kid was a teenager and grew up in the gym, you know what I mean? Like I don't really know how that works, and how that's.
I don't know. All I know is there's like too many creepy stories out there that we've seen,
and it's just like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, man, I honestly, that's why I really enjoy having married, people here working, people with families, people that have things to lose. Man, it's like when you're talking about having, instructors with that kind of power, leveraging it. You know what I mean? To be able to, I don't know. It's. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole because I want to talk more about the sales side. But again, your experience that you produce for your members are always going to be what's going to make the difference maker. You know what I mean? It's always going to be what's going to make or break them people from doing combat sports long term.
But I think it's important to bring up that, that's an extra step that a lot of places take, and I'm sure a lot of places don't. Mm-hmm. And even if you do, it's not saying that you're 100%, going to catch all the weirdo shit on the way in, but I think it's worth mentioning that a lot of places definitely take those safeguards, and
a lot of places don't even have camera systems.
Take it seriously.
A lot of people don't have camera systems, dude. Like I want to have a camera system for everybody, like protect everybody, like not just. I mean, you hear all kinds of stories, right? Protect everybody, but we're kind of digressing on that. Again, when it comes to sales, gym owners, close the deal, okay? Ask for the sale. You've done all the work. You've brought the people in for, a trial class. You've brought them in your business. You've showed them your expertise. You've showed them around. They've trained. They've done all these things. Ask for the fucking sale. Stop being so worried about being pushy, or stop using your biased mindset of what you think you want and saying that's how the world is, because a lot of people need that extra step. And if you bring your people into your gym, right? Okay, so what if they cancel? Those people that come into my gym and sign up and cancel, they still help. There is always an attrition that you're battling, okay? If you're a smaller club, you probably won't see it as much. And it probably feels a little bit more personal. When you're a bigger club like us, you're going to battle and have a higher attrition rate because more people are coming in, more people are leaving. More people are coming in, more people are leaving. So at the end of the day, you're going to need those shots in the arms of signups of people. And it's your job and your culture that you create and your coaches and other members to keep the people. It's not your whole, oh, look at me, I'm the black belt, or I'm the champion, or I've done all that. People don't give a fuck about me. Most of our members, I got my own little following. Just like all of our 12 coaches have their own little followings. They don't give a fuck about Branden Hudson. They see me, they like me, they appreciate me. But I'm not the one that, a guy like, some of our members that take Coach P's class, or some of our members that take, Louis' class, or, John's class. Like, these people have their own following, their own connections, their own, relationships. That's what you're looking for when you close the fucking sale.
And really, you deserve it. I mean, you've put time in.
Yeah.
You put blood, sweat, and tears, literally. You put money into it, and you deserve it, and your members deserve it. Like, bottom line. Like, you just remember, like, equating it to the music thing. Back in the day, it was like, oh man, they're so and so's a sellout, and if this band's like, what do you?
Because they made it big.
It's like there's worse ways of making money, and probably if you're in a band, you've probably done a lot of those jobs.
Oh yeah.
So there's worse ways.
Suck dick for $10. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that feels.
But you know what I mean? It's that whole the sellout thing. So it's like, oh, you're becoming too corporate. It's like, look, there are levels to things, and it's whatever you're comfortable with. But really, I mean, pick and choosing things. I think there's there's worse jobs, there's worse ways of treading on people to get where you want and to make money. But man, most people have time in whatever their craft is, and you deserve it.
You know how much you're 100%. Do you know how many people I've tried to help in our market with their gyms, and because of their ego, they just deny wanting me to help them. And I'm like, okay, cool. You want to help sales. You don't want to help marketing. You know what I mean? Cool. But yet you want to charge $20 to, for this little side gig, or $30 for that little side gig, when you could be getting a revolving membership money plus merchandise and all the other things, and t-shirts. And it's just like, it's so hypocritical. It's so hypocritical. If you're not asking for the sale and you're not being a salesperson, gym owners, and closing them, then it is irresponsible and disrespectful to the current members that you have. It is a atrocity that you sit back and expect that your members should be subjected to the only people that you only have brought in or want to come in all faithfully, or the members that you've poached, or whatever it is that you've done to get your members. Because if you're not marketing and you're not selling, you're not growing, right? So go out there, ask for the sale, make the money, you know what I mean? Do whatever you want with the money. Reinvest the money back into the business. Reinvest the money back into your people. Go reinvest the money in yourself. It doesn't matter. If you're constantly running on overwhelm and you're broke as a gym owner, as any other business owner, you're not going to make clear decisions. You're not going to do the right things the right way for your organization or your gym. So if you're constantly running on that avatar and on that notion, then good luck. You're gonna get swallowed up. You're gonna get swallowed up by a hungry shark like me, for sure. Because I'm coming in and I'm marketing to everybody. I got a sales team. I got people I want to close. I'm bringing everybody in the door. Because here's why: if I get a chance to bring somebody into my organization, somebody in the SBY MMA and fitness, and they have an opportunity to be bought in with our culture, learn something from us, grow, and follow their whatever goals they have and accomplish them inside of our organization, that's one life I got the chance to change. That's one life I got the opportunity to improve. On top of that, if that one life that I improve does the butterfly effect and the ripple effect and starts helping other people in other lives, like we've seen so many times before,
all the time,
I'm asking for that close every time. And my sales guys are asking for that close. And we're going to call you when you opt in to talk to us. And we're going to kind of make we're going to make a relationship with you. We're going for it. So it's our responsibility as martial arts owners, as martial arts instructors, as gym owners, it's our responsibility to bring people in our gym and pass along the stuff that's changed our lives. You got anything else?
No, I was just going to say when you know, if you could be a fly on the wall during some of these, whether it's in-person conversations or on the phone or the email exchanges, it's like 2% of it is about how much do you charge? What are the rate? It's like I mean, and you know, I've told you, I've spent half an hour on the phone with some people, and they're telling you their life story.
Yeah,
I mean, some shit that will bring you to tears,
and they're in tears,
and it's like it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger. So yeah, I mean, just most of those conversations, that's what it's about, and that, you know, that's the bigger picture. And again, you know, by not asking for that sale, you're basically not asking somebody permission to help them out. And most people are willing to pay a little bit for that help.
100%. Guys, that'll do it for this episode of Champ Talk. If you guys get any value out of this, please share it with you. And guys, anybody that has any questions or you need help, message me, DM us, throw us a fucking kite signal. I don't give a fuck. Message us today. You know what I mean? We just want to help our community, help the culture, and keep providing value. But again, please like and subscribe to our channels, and see you next time. What are you doing today to become a champion?